What's up, you incantated calamaris? This is the Fish Fry, where I give you the lowdown on the next salmon run stages, with weapon benefits, stage strategies, and general tips for maximizing your potential with Grizzco. This is for the stage rotation that's happening on October 4th, and it's being held at Fission Hydroplant. It features the weapons, the Splattershot, the Inkbrush, the Flingza roller, and the E-Liter 4K. With two of the weapons of the salmon run having rough wall painting, make sure you use interesting ways of painting walls to get them inked quickly. And if you have the Splattershot or the Inkbrush, make sure you spend as much time as possible painting those walls even during matches. It's very useful. And try to refrain from using any of the corridors. The salmonids can't climb walls, so we can use them to our advantage to make quick runaways. And even the smallest amount of ink helps, not just to help you run away, but to get you where you need to go to take out those bosses. Even on a high tide, it's very useful to have these walls painted. Sometimes you get bumped out and you can catch yourself right there on the edge. And since the stage is so small, make sure you keep your eye out for as many drizzler balloons as possible. And remember how dangerous that shoreline is. If you ever find your way out there, make sure you use as many movement opportunities as you can. One way to keep from going to the shoreline too often is to jump throw bombs to get a little extra distance on them. Jump throwing a bomb is also helpful for getting a little extra distance for reviving a teammate too. And a friendly reminder, Grizzco doesn't pay us for keeping our specials. So if you find yourself with specials on Wave 2 or Wave 3, find the place to use them where you can be more of a support instead of a clutch. It's really fun getting a clutch, but man, it's really fun also just getting a clear. So if you find yourself with both of your specials on Wave 3, try to make sure you use them within the last 30 seconds just to be that support character. And I don't see enough people using this platform on low tide. It's a great place if you're providing support to make a quick run for it. Alright, let's get to the weapons of this rotation. The first weapon of this rotation is the Splattershot. The Splattershot is one of the most perfect mid-range weapons that the game has to offer. With incredible wall coverage, damage, and turf coverage, make sure you do your part to cover that ground as much as possible. The Splattershot also has a decent range, being able to reach a lot of bosses. But keep in mind with the fish stick that you're in the range of its paint, so it's probably best to just climb it and take it out from above. The second weapon of the salmon run is the Inkbrush. The Inkbrush sports an amazing walking speed when you hold the brush out, but it can only splat small fry, so your main output of damage is going to be with the normal brush swing. And that brush swing has an amazing coverage on walls and floors, so use as many movement opportunities to your advantage in order to get those splats. And this thing does fire fast, literally only held back by how fast you can pull the trigger. Its attack also has an arc to it, and you can be dealing with lessers while focusing on a boss. This thing does use up ink pretty quickly, so if you're ever using the brush run as a way of escaping, make sure you stop whenever you're in safety, that way you can fill up on ink. Also, this weapon has some problems dealing with a couple bosses, so if you're ever dealing with a scrapper, you might stun them in a spot where you cannot splat them. This weapon does a great job at getting in and getting out really quickly in that pit, so use it to your advantage and get the clutch for your team. The third weapon of the Salmon Run is the Flingza Roller. The Flingza has some unique abilities compared to the rest of the rollers in Splatoon 3. The Flingza's flick has nothing special to it. It's only when you do the vertical fling that you find that the Flingza has an incredible damage output. At the tip of the vertical fling shot, you can see 2 extra squirts of ink come out. Whatever you hit with that tip is going to be hit with massive damage. And its roll ability can also splat chum and small fry, but keep in mind it cannot take out Quahawks, so pre-damage the Quahawks before you start making an approach on them. Just like with all the other rollers, if you approach a fish stick, make sure you paint it and roll your way to it, that way you don't have to worry about painting at your feet. And when dealing with the stinger, just know it's going to take time, so try to use as much range to your advantage. And if you don't know, when you run out of ink when rolling, if you stop moving, you will get ink back. The last weapon of this rotation is the E-Liter 4K. The E-Liter has the strongest shot of any charger in the game. But with its charge time, you're going to want to make sure that you keep your aim on point. And if you miss a shot, you're going to need to find your way to safety, and movement with the E-Liter can be a bit of a slog. But with its ability to paint the ground, and its piercing shot, it can be an incredible boss splatting weapon. Just make sure you don't go in the pit for too long. Try to make sure you climb back up your walls as quick as possible. And with the rough wall painting that the E-Liter provides, try to paint thicker streams on the wall so that way you have a little more ink to grip. These walls will help you get to that height and get you that opportunity that you need. With this weapon's incredible shot, try to make sure you charge up a full shot to pierce through enemies and cause as much damage as possible. A tip for stingers, try to use a quarter charge shot to take out one bucket at a time. It gives you a little bit of extra charge in case something sneaks up on your back and you need to take it out quickly. For fish sticks, if you happen to climb up them, try to fire while moving your camera in the clockwise direction. I've noticed a bit more success in connecting my shots than just randomly firing straight ahead of me. And with how much ink each shot uses of the E-Liter, if you ever find yourself out of ink, just use your special to top off on ink instead of making your way to the shoreline. And if you really want those eggs from the shoreline, just wait for a snatcher to grab them and bring them to you. A snatcher's eggs have clutched more than a few runs for me. And remember that the fish fry comes out before the stage rotation, so if you want to catch these updates when they're fresh, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. And if you want more employees of Grizzco to receive these tips, make sure you like and share the video. Bye-bye.